hopefully this works. So, walking you through the whole process. So it started with snow day work, and the snow day 1 writing assignment gave you the topic. It said, because of safety concerns, many states have increased the age at which teens can begin to drive. Your state legislature is considering raising the minimum driving age from 16 to 18. Do you think the minimum driving age should be raised? Take a position on this issue, support your response with reasons and specific examples. This is a copy paste directly from old writing prompts. So this is the kind of thing they will say. They'll say, here is an issue that people debate, pick a side, and support it. When you go to, try and figure out what it is they're asking you, just look for like the main point. Look for the main points. Then you want to go through the writing process. So first you got your topic. Now you have to start your pre-writing. So then your pre-writing, you have coming down over here. You might do a brainstorm where you just list as many ideas as possible. Or you can do a mind map, which ignore the extra stuff that's on here. It's because I'm using this for another class. But that's when we talked about the bubble sheet, which is the same thing as brainstorming. It's just if you prefer it in bubble form. So you do those two, you come up with a whole bunch of ideas, figure out which ones are going to be best for your essay. To do that, this is the one that we did in class where we discussed a similar issue, and we did whether or not the drinking age should be 18 or 21. So we came up with all these, and then when I say to organize them, when it comes to the writing process, it's to see how many you can group together. So you have a whole bunch of blue ones and a whole bunch of yellow ones, so you can definitely make a paragraph out of that. Red, not so much. Probably not going to use those ideas. Purple, purple looks promising. You can probably do that. So at this point, if I am the student, I am thinking, okay, these are the ideas, blue, purple, yellow. These are the ideas I'm going to take into my essay. Some of these you'll see are from different sides. Some are for or against. That's going to be where you do your concessions, where you make a concession, where you address the counterclaim and a rebuttal. So if you have different things that you want to address from both sides, keep that to one paragraph. You have to do it at least once in your essay, but ideally just have a whole paragraph. You can either add a fourth body paragraph or replace whatever is your weakest body paragraph idea. So in this case, I'd probably get rid of the purple ones because that's struggling to get to a full paragraph there. And I would probably instead do my counterclaim paragraph there. So then going back to the writing process. So you did your pre-writing, you did your organizing so that you know how all of your ideas are going to be there. Then you want to make sure that they are arranged by order of importance. So that goes to this handout that we did, where I gave you guys the sentences and said, put them in order from least important to most important. So that was that handout. Then once you've organized, you write your rough draft. And you're not worried about grammar and spelling here. Now, this was stuff that we're still at snow day at this point. You guys were supposed to get all the way through a rough draft on the snow days. So you have your rough draft, you're getting them into paragraph form, and this is when you're going to add that introduction and conclusion paragraph. So then that is this one. Where'd it go? Can't get rid of my little recording thing. Here, just go here. This handout, writing strong introductions and conclusions for persuasive essays. So this is when you go to write your rough draft. You got to put an intro and conclusion paragraph on it. Use this handout to guide you through that process. So then once you have written your full rough draft, so at this point you have your 5 paragraphs: intro, body 1, body 2, body 3, conclusion. Got your 5 paragraphs. You make sure that you have enough major and minor details. So that's going to be this one, making sure that each paragraph, you've got at least 3 majors and those specific explanations for minors. This is the part where I said I recorded that video for English 1. So if you're not sure that you can fill in all these bubbles, go back and watch that video. I think it says like class notes February 10th or something like that. And I walk you through this whole process and how to pick what goes in each part. Then you have made it to revising and editing. So this is when you want to go through and make sure that you have everything exactly as you want it. You've already just spit the content out. Like, we got that. You know what your body paragraphs are about. You know what your main points are. Now you want to go to it's on delay. There we go. Now you want to go to these handouts, the ones that we went over the last couple days, because this is the end of your writing process. You want to make sure that you have good evidence. You want to make sure you address a counterclaim, that you have a rebuttal, that you got a strong conclusion, and that you're hitting all these overall effectiveness checks. So you want to run it through that one, and you want to run it through this one, making sure that, again, you want to aim for like 90% appeal to logic, and then sprinkle in a little emotion now and then make sure that you're meeting all of these just to look like a professional, to make sure you are showing that you're taking the essay seriously. So addressing those viewpoints, reasonable and respectful language, confidence and clarity. And then the one that I gave you today. So where are those? Nope. And then you want to make sure that you're putting the necklaces and all the fancy accessories on there. That's going to be the 2 that I gave you today. So all of these are in the revision process. Make sure you got some good transition words in there. Make sure that your language is very specific, that instead of saying there are a lot, say there are numerous, many, countless, substantial. Use the big words. Make it sound stronger. And then as far as editing goes, just check grammar. That's going back to the handouts about fragments, comma splices, punctuation, all of those. I don't have those pulled up, but they're just the grammar section. Concise sentences, all the ones we had on grammar for the other snow days. Those are all going to be under your snow days as well. Snow day 3, that's punctuation. Snow day 2, that's concise sentences. So run through those different grammar handouts. That's editing. So revising and editing, these grammar things, the persuasive terms, the vivid language, transitions, that's all revising and editing after you have written your rough draft. Because goal number 1 is to just get your 5 paragraphs. Get your 5 paragraphs, make sure you are explaining enough, then go back through all these checklists. Then you go through and submit. The end. When you submit, they're going to grade it by this rubric. So this is the big rubric again. I've just zoomed in. So to show you where all of this is applying, you have your clear thesis. That's on the intro and conclusion handout. You have appropriate audience. That's talking about ethos. Effective introduction, obviously the introduction handout. Logical organization plan, that's on the body paragraph organization handout. Evidence and reasons are organized logically, same thing. Few digressions, same thing. Consistent point of view, same thing. Transitions effectively, that's the transition handout that I just gave you. Counterclaims, that's on the 5, what's that one called? No, I was doing so well remembering them all. That one is, nope, that's intro, conclusion. Oh, you're not supposed to be your own tab. Go back. So the counterclaim stuff is on persuasive essay terms. So this whole section is on persuasive essay terms. Evidence and details. This one's going to be on a little bit of everything, but your major and minor details handout. It's going to be on, let's see, the best, if you have to go to just one, is probably going to be on the ethos, logos, pathos one, because this is talking about logos, making sure you explain yourself. The conclusion, that's on the intro and conclusion handout. Flow and good sentence structure, that's your concise writing. And then word choice, this is the, you see here, highly specific word choice descriptive language. That's the vivid language handout that I gave you today. So you have handouts for all of these. You want to make sure that you are able to check all those boxes, and every single one of those is on some of the handouts that we've gone over. And then all of those are posted on Classroom. But again, Friday is the day to come in. You want to break this down and we spend a whole thing just talking about this one box? Cool. We will spend a whole thing talking about this one box. All next week, we're going to be going through these sections, making sure you know how to do them. We're going to be practicing. We're going to be self-quizzing, peer reviewing, a little bit of everything. And then we're also going to go back over some of the grammar stuff and obviously take a practice SOL or two.